What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. It's 1TS Daily live right here at One True Sport. How's it going? Happy Monday. It's December 9th. Almost, well, I guess it is the holiday season, but it's almost like the holiday. But glad to be here. I'm Zack Heydorn. I'm your host from Brass Ring Media and from Sports Illustrated. Hope you all, like I said, had a wonderful weekend. It's Monday. We're here. Let's have a freaking blast. Lots to talk about this morning. AEW making some news with their big all-in ticket event. Also, all the happenings from the weekend to discuss from SmackDown, which feels like an eternity ago. We got NXT Deadline to talk about. We got Raw to talk about. Man, lots of stuff. So, let's get going. This is One True Sport. You are on the One True Sport YouTube channel, and this is 1TS Daily. We're live with this show each and every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're here talking the news of the day of pro wrestling with you. We take about, 20, 25 minutes usually, and just kind of give you your fix as to what's going on throughout the day. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, hello, thanks so much for being here. If you're catching us on Twitter X, same thing. Hello, thanks for being here. If you guys could like this video, that would be a big help. Helps us get in front of more eyes. So you have more people to talk with on the show, and we just can introduce more people to this style of what we do here on 1TS Daily every single day of the week. So like that video. If for some reason you're watching this and you are not subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that too. You're not going to want to miss that. We got a lot of people filing in the live chat this morning. I do have the live chat open. If you want to suggest a topic, or you want to ask a question, or you want to make a comment, please go ahead and do that. We'll try to read as many as I can. At the same time, if you want to make sure that I do read it, drop me a super chat. Super chats are always a great way to support the show, but also to make sure you get your questions answered and your topics read. So super chats are open as well. Any contribution helps, guys. It really does. So I thank you in advance for that. We got Salvation says here, I'm watching from Botswana. Man, how cool is that? That's so darn cool. Thank you so much for being here. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome to see that. I don't know, just cool for me. Eddie's also in the chat this morning. He says, good morning. He's got also has a comment about NXT Deadline, which we will get to here in a minute. All right, but that said, the big news of the day, tickets for AEW All In are on sale. AEW this morning, a huge event. It was supposed to be a huge event. I'll tell you what, I turned it on. And it just didn't look like there was many people there. It really looked small. It really looked just kind of like, I don't know, guys. It just looked like nobody was there. It looked minor league. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm just doing my job. If I don't tell it like it is, right? It did not seem like a well-attended event. I like the idea behind it. I think the idea behind it is cool. I think the ticket launch, an event like that, obviously, it lends itself well if there's lots of people. But when I was watching this, I did not think to myself, man, this is this hot event that's coming up next summer. Like, it just kind of felt like, oh boy, they're doing this. So be that as it may, the news coming out of the event is there will be another Starcast, so that's interesting. Conrad Thompson was on hand for this event, so there will be a Starcast in conjunction with AEW All In. Also, Bryan Danielson made an appearance, and he kind of declared that he would be at All In. Of course, he didn't say in what capacity, right? He didn't say that he'd be wrestling. He didn't say that he wouldn't be wrestling. But he didn't say that he would be either. So kind of an interesting, nugget there. Sting was on hand. Darby Allin was on hand. Mercedes Moné was on hand. Others, AJ, the big boom AJ was there. For better or worse, look, okay. I didn't have a problem with the match at Full Gear that they did. I mean, I really didn't. It was on the pre-show. It was what it was. But Swerve Strickland was there too, by the way. Don't want to forget about him. But you can't use Big Boom AJ as like a lead promotional avenue for your company. Can't do it. You just can't do it. You can't go down that path. You want to bring him in for a match? Great. You want to do some other kind of partnerships with him? Fine. But having him as like a central figure for, the biggest show that you want to do on U.S. soil, that doesn't scream, hey, we're confident with what we've got on tap here. So that was a little bizarre to see. But yeah, so the biggest news coming out of this is StarCast. The biggest news, in addition to that, is Bryan Danielson says he's going to be there. What capacity? Man, I don't know. What do you guys think about Bryan Danielson these days? Let me get a sip of coffee here. I got the Starbucks cup. Still looking for that Starbucks promotion, Starbucks sponsorship. Starbucks, here. Come on. Bryan Danielson in AEW is an interesting mind game that I play in my head, because on one hand, of course you want to see the guy come back. Of course you want to see him wrestle again. As wrestling fans and as wrestling analysts, the wrestling industry is better when he's around and when he's wrestling in it and when he's active. But we all just know so much about what he went through and what that injury is, and just all the pain that he sustained and all the just bumps and bruises and grind. It's just like, I don't know that we need that. And for his sake, I hope that, part of me hopes that he just doesn't wrestle again. Just go with just go and be happy. And you've made he's made a forever mark on the professional wrestling industry and changed it for always. That is something to be proud of. And that's something to, lean back and go, okay, like that's enough, right? Think about it. Like if he comes back, who can he have matches with? Who? John Moxley, obviously that's on the table, but we've already seen that twice. So it's not like anything new. If he was in the company, okay, fine. That'd be a match that you'd go to and you'd go there. But if you're just bringing him back for like one-off thing here and there, like he's wrestled everybody. He's wrestled Okada. He's wrestled Ospreay. He's wrestled Omega. He's wrestled Page. He's wrestled Swerve. I just don't know, what the benefit is, like what's the big match that you could have him in? I don't know. Jay White is somebody he hasn't wrestled, but that doesn't scream like big match to me. That's a match and that's a good match, but no, I don't think that that's like a drop everything. Okay, wow, we need to buy tickets to go see this. Kyle Fletcher is somebody too, I guess, but same thing. Like, yes, it's a good match, but it's not a dream match. It's not like this iconic match that you'd have Danielson come back for. Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Let's go to the chat here. Eddie's in the chat talking about this. I want to run through three of Eddie's comments here. Eddie says here, Bryan Danielson is cringe for me in the last year. If Danielson tries to wrestle again and gets hurt, I'll have no sympathy because he knows he is fragile. Yeah. Well, for the fragility element of it is one thing, but it's not even like, to me, Eddie, that's not even like the important part. The important part is he's got serious health issues, physical health issues. Like, don't aggravate those. Don't make those worse for no reason. And then, and this is the very, the point I wanted to get to. Eddie says here, the only big matches he could have are all WWE. Matches like Gunther, Cody Rhodes, right? Who else? CM Punk. I mean, you could do Roman Reigns again, in it with a different skew. But really, it's like I think it's Cody, I think it's Punk, I think it's Gunther. Like those are like your three big matches. I mean, those are the ones that you'd want to. Those are the ones that I could like see you wanting to come out of retirement for, like, because you haven't done them before. I mean, you've done them, but not in the capacity that they would be done in now. It just doesn't have those in AEW because he had such a great run while he was there, and that's good. That's a testament to Danielson. Now, it's not a great testament to like Tony Khan and booking and making sure you get the most out of him in terms of like making money and generating interest. But that's a different story, different argument, different discussion. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see, like, if a match lines up for him. I don't know. Let's go to some other comments in the chat here. We got David who's here, says, I'm watching the Iron Claw on HBO Max. Heck of a movie. I like that movie a lot. It's such a sad story. Like, man, it's just such a brutal story. I saw that movie with my wife when it came out, and we went in the theaters and saw it, and she just couldn't believe it. She just couldn't believe, like, this all happened to one family. And it's like, yeah, it did. And it's devastating and tough. But it is a good movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Don't plan on like, going to a party afterwards because it's not that kind of movie. It's not that kind of movie. All right. The live chat's open, guys. Jump in there with Eddie and David, and Salvation is in there, and others hanging out, chatting. Appreciate you guys doing that. Also, it's the holiday seasons. If you're looking for a gift, check that out. Stunning the Wrestling Artistry of Steve Austin. There's the book right there. You can see it right there. I wrote this book. It came out this year. It is a full analysis and kind of in-depth piece of work on the artistry of Steve Austin's career, start to finish, from the 1980s, late 1980s when he started, to the match with Kevin Owens. We dig in deep into the artistry of his career. And so we analyze matches, and we talk about history, and we just talk about what worked, what didn't work for him artistically in the ring throughout all iterations of his characters. So, Stunning Steve and Hollywood Blondes, and like, the Ringmaster and Stone Cold, obviously. Stone Cold as a heel. We even talk about his days in Japan and ECW, of course. Talk about all the eras of his career. So if you want to like check it out and you want to get a gift for like a wrestling friend or just, hey, yourself, you can get it on Amazon right now. I hope that you do. I really do. I'm proud of the project. Some really good feedback on it. Jonathan Snowden, the gentleman who wrote the Ken Shamrock book, was a mentor on the project, and the Hybrid Shoot, it's an independent publishing company. So if you pick up the book on Amazon right now, you support independent publishing and independent art. I hope that you check it out. It's called Stunning the Wrestling Artistry of Steve Austin. You can get it on Amazon right now, and I hope that you do. Thank you in advance. All right, so there's that. All right, David also asks, is Trish Stratus coming back on Raw? I don't know. I don't know. Not at this point. I checked, what WWE is promoting for Raw tonight, and there's not a lot. There's not a lot there right now, and they did the same thing with SmackDown on Friday. So it's an interesting avenue to go down, given the fact that they've got Saturday Night's Main Event coming up on Saturday night. So we'll see what they do. We'll preview Raw here in a second, but let's talk over the weekend. You have new tag team champions on SmackDown, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. They turned heel and they beat the Motor City Machine Guns to win those titles. I like that move a lot. I thought it was a really interesting pivot for them as a team. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, they really didn't have the gas to kind of like continue going as baby faces. I think the DIY Gargano Ciampa thing just ran its course, just like a lot of things do. I mean, that feud and that hot run was, over 5 years ago now. I mean, it's been a while. And I just think they realized, hey, yeah, we're not going to get out that much out of it anymore. Let's freshen things up. Let's go this direction. And now you can have like a real tag team feud here if you want to. You can have a real, tag team program, bitter enemies feud, Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. I hope they do. I hope that's what's on tap, because I think that is, that's a good way to like reinvigorate your tag team division. You give it something that people want to see, give it something that people care about. And I think this did that. I think this really did that. So I was very high on what they did on SmackDown. Also over the weekend, we had NXT Deadline on Peacock, PLE for NXT. It was on Saturday night. Look, I don't know how I feel about Saturday night NXT shows, okay? The regular WWE PLEs, that's one thing. Those are, an event for people, right? Like, we have people over, we can plan around them, whatever. NXT PLE seemed like the perfect like Sunday night thing, if you ask me. Like, just if you could put it on if you want, you don't have to. The week's, kind of dying down, getting ready for the next week. Like, I just don't think NXT is the event that WWE PLEs have become. So I hope WWE recognizes that, because NXT felt weird on Saturday night to me, but I digress. All right, so on the show opened with the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Early in the day on Saturday, they announced that Eddie Thorpe, because of his injury, because of the attack he suffered this week on SmackDown, would not be competing in the match. And instead, Ava entered Obafemi into the match against Javon Evans, Wesley, Nathan Frazier, and Ethan Page. Obafemi is the winner, and he now has a title shot at New Year's Evil, and so you get the big Trick Williams versus Obafemi match, which is which is interesting. Like, to me, that was a match that you want to save for like an NXT Stand and Deliver. I think that's the biggest match you can do. So do it. Do it there at the biggest stage. But, look, if you're looking to draw a number, or you're looking to move some business for the NXT New Year's Evil, like that, that's the right move. So real interested to see what they do here. But so the final scores for everybody went: Obafemi 3 pinfall, Ethan Page 2, Javon Evans 2, Wesley and Nathan Frazier, and Nathan Frazier 1. So there you go. The question is, will it be revealed that Obafemi is the guy who took out Eddie Thorpe? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I think that'd be an interesting twist. But I also just think that that's, I don't know, that doesn't seem to me like that's the character we've seen from Obafemi. Like, I know that they've presented him as this like monster heel at times, but I just don't know that that's his real personality at this point. It seems to me he's got more of a likable personality than like a very destructive one. So curious as to where they go with this. I'm a big fan of Eddie Thorpe, and so I hope that this is a moment for him and not just, okay, now you got beat up by somebody and now you're back down the card, because I think he can give more than that. Eddie says here the right guy won, and also I don't think so when it comes to Oba being the guy that took out Eddie Thorpe. That's not Oba's style. Yeah, exactly, right, Eddie? Like, that's exactly my point. Yeah, good looking out, because, yeah, it's not. It really isn't. But we'll see. But it was a good match. Nathan Frazier stood out. A lot of action from him, which is cool. I think he really, he didn't get much as far as like pinfalls goes, but he got a lot in terms of momentum and offense and cool stuff in the match. So that was interesting. All right, you had Lola Vice and Jada Parker in an NXT Underground match. Lola Vice wins this one, so she keeps her record. Keeps her record intact as far as that goes. That style match. They did the stuff with the brick and all that, and it was fine. I would say this was a fine A fine match. Not a great match. Nothing that you need to absolutely go out of your way to see, but a fine little mid-card match on this show. All right, we had Nathan Frazier and Axiom against Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. Frazier and Axiom win the match and they retain their titles. I like this match. It was really good. The pace that like Axiom and Nathan Frazier can work is pretty incredible. And I've kind of been down on the tag team, honestly, just because they kind of came out of nowhere. And like, I never thought that they really had chemistry like Nathan Frazier and Axiom. But I guess if you keep beating us over the head with it over and over and over again, it works, because it's kind of like, I feel like the square peg is like fit into the round hole at this point. And the match wasn't bad. And I do feel something now for that tag team. So good match there. Trick Williams versus Ridge Holland for the NXT Championship was next. You had Trick Williams beat Ridge Holland to retain the title. So he retained the NXT Championship over Ridge Holland. No surprise there. I think this was always trending that way. Ridge Holland was always, to me, set up as an opponent that Trick could just beat, and he did, and that's good, and that's fine, especially when the match isn't in the main event. So, this was perfectly fine for what it was. And then in the main event, you had the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. So Sol Ruca versus Stephanie Vaquer versus Zarya versus Julia versus Ren Sinclair. The winner gets a shot at Roxanne Perez for her NXT Women's Championship at New Year's Evil. And the winner was Julia. Julia wins this match. She wins it with 2 pinfalls. Zarya had 1, Sol Ruca had 1, Stephanie Vaquer had 1, and Ren Sinclair had 1. This is definitely the match of the night. I thought this was excellent. And how could it not be, right? Like, I mean, there's so much talent in that match. Like, how could it not be just like really excellent? And it was. I thought that they would go a different direction with Julia. So I thought the finish was a bit of a surprise. Not in a bad way, but just because I think you had some others in that match that could have done well with the win. And you've already done Perez against Julia. So, I don't know. Is Roxanne Perez, is she going to even be around by the time NXT Stand and Deliver happens, right? Maybe she's headed to the main roster. Maybe that's a move. One of the big news stories outside of the tag team titles coming out of SmackDown was like the opening of the transfer portal, where GMs of each show are going to get together and swap some people around. Roxanne Perez could easily be on a fast track to Raw or SmackDown, and maybe Julia goes over here and you go to a different big match. The NXT Women's Division is so stocked that it really doesn't matter. There's a lot of talent everywhere, and so that's that's one of the benefits of having strong divisions in different areas of your company. So Julia versus Perez on deck for New Year's Evil. Great, it's a good show. I would go out of your way to watch that show. Like, I really would, especially the 2 Iron Survivor Challenge matches, but especially the women's one. So I really I think that's a worthwhile thing to do. All right, let's preview Raw here really quick before we ride off into the sunset. We got Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez on tap tonight. Finn Balor and Adam Pearce will be on hand, and they'll discuss Judgment Day's next tag team match. The Wyatt Six is going to face the Final Testament and The Miz, so we got a Wyatt Six sighting. And then the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament continues. Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile versus Zelina Vega. Obviously, like, the big hook of this show tonight is the match with the Wyatts. Curious to see how they do. They haven't been on TV in a while. We'll see what kind of juice they get. I mean, obviously, I see them winning this match, and I think this is kind of how WWE is going to use them moving forward. But they, you got to reestablish them here. It's been a bit, and then set up some opponents for them too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. 1TS Daily live here at One True Sport every day, every morning, right around 11:30 Eastern. We are here. We fire up the YouTube channel and we go and we talk wrestling. So we'll review Raw tomorrow, preview NXT, and so much more. So don't miss it. Be here. I'm Zack Heydorn. You can check out more of my work at Brass Ring Media. It's a shop that I run. We have a YouTube channel. It's free to subscribe to. We have all of our live shows there. You can also catch all of our live shows on demand as podcasts. So just download us as podcasts. And you can also follow our written work, Brass Ring Media, on Substack. In addition to that, like I said, pick up the book. I think you guys will like it. If you like this show, I think you'll really like that book. So give it a go. I hope you decide to read it. I hope you enjoy it. Would love to hear what you think. I'm Zack Heydorn from Brass Ring Media from SI. We'll catch you guys all really, really soon. All right. Have a good day. See ya.